Look into my eyes. Your soul is stained by the blood of the innocent. Feel their pain.
Hello. Sorry about the reflection on my glasses. I am making this video specifically to help out people that want to get into Ghost Rider, places that they could start. I'm literally going to be going over every single volume for the most part. And I will also talk about different releases, places where you can find Ghost Rider comics, places where you can go to buy them, and different collections that you could get. I'm going to start with something I learned while doing research. I mean, I have been reading Ghost Rider pretty much my entire life. I have a decent amount of knowledge, but there are still things I learned that are new to me that I did not know about. A great resource, by the way. I'll probably put some links down below for different places you can go for certain things. One extremely awesome resource that's better than pretty much anything else out there is it's called Ghost Rider Avengers Unbound. It's a website that does reviews on all Ghost Rider. He has way more knowledge than I do, and he has way more reviews than I do because I'm just getting started. But it's a different resource you can go to. I mean, I hope you still come to me every time I release a video. I'd appreciate it. He's also incredible. He also wrote a book that's pretty cool. This guy, Chris Munn, he's the guy who made the Ghost Rider Avengers Unbound website, and I think he's pretty awesome. So check him out. And this is where I got this information. This guy knows everything about Ghost Rider. The very first Ghost Rider series was actually not produced by Marvel Comics, but was instead created for magazine Enterprises in 1949. Rex Fury was a character created by Raymond Crank, Gardner Fox, and Dick Ayers in the pages of Time Holt magazine. And the character eventually evolved into the white-garbed original Ghost Rider. He's the Western one with the cowboy hat and the two guns. He looks badass. I really like his look. Rex Fury rode as the Ghost Rider for several years until the Comics Code Authority forced Magazine Enterprises to close its doors, eventually allowing the character to fall into the public domain. Marvel Comics would take the character's design and creator, Dick Ayers, for their own version of Ghost Rider in 1967, changing the character's identity to Carter Slade for 14 issues. I did know about the second version. I didn't realize that the creator who created the original version came on to do the new one for Marvel, which is awesome. The guy's a great character. I haven't read too much with Carter Slade. I have, you can't really see it. It's up there. It's issue 50 of the Johnny Blaze run has them meeting Johnny Blaze's Ghost Rider and Carter Slade, and it's really freaking cool. It's a great comic. Anyways, so that's the 1950s, and then in 1967, as we just mentioned, it came back for 7 issues. That's it, which kind of sucks that it was only that short. That was 1967. And then in 1973, for 10 years, from 1973 to 1983, was the Johnny Blaze run. The first Ghost Rider that has the flaming skull, the motorcycle, that's where that comes into play. And it's technically volume 2. Like, if you ask some people, they call it volume 2. And if you look at the actual comic book print, it says volume 1. That's why I've kind of made a joke on some of my videos about it's technically this volume, but this volume, because there was this whole mix-up when Johnny Blaze became Ghost Rider. He first appeared in this in Marvel Spotlight for several issues before he got his own series. And in his series, Ghost Rider, they just called it Volume 1, when technically there already was a Ghost Rider Volume 1. So there was this whole mix-up, and it wasn't until years later that they kind of, fiddled with that and changed it around for reprints. Like, if you look at Dan Ketch's Ghost Rider, which is the 90s series, they call it Volume 2 in the comic book, but if you look at websites, internet resources and stuff, a lot of them refer to the 90s series as Volume 3. It's weird. Pretty much everything after the Johnny Blaze run, I have a pretty decent knowledge of. The Johnny Blaze run, the only thing I've really read, besides random issues like issue 50, there was this cool Avengers guest appearance that he made where he beat the crap out of the Avengers. Super awesome. Definitely worth checking out. I will probably talk about that comic on my YouTube page at some point. The last 14 issues that I kind of wanted to discuss here. This is the first big recommendation I have. They reprinted the last 14 issues of his run as a series called The Original Ghost Rider Rides Again. It was 7 issues long. Each issue had technically 2 issues in it, so that's why it's the last 14 issues of the run, and it's about basically Johnny Blaze's last ride, his last adventures. Yeah, that's my first big recommendation. I will show you guys some collected editions and graphic novels that I have and that are out there. There's not many. Ghost Rider does not get as much love as he deserves. The 90s series, 1990 to 1998, Daniel Ketch's run, that is pretty much where my expertise comes in. I've read the entire run. It's an incredible run. I highly recommend checking it out. It has some of the coolest stories. Unfortunately, it's not until after Dan Ketch's run that they started really releasing everything in graphic novel form, so you can actually easily get access to a lot of everything pretty much after the 90s series. There are some collected editions. The first 3 issues of Dan Ketch's run probably have been reprinted more than anything else. And it's frustrating because why would you advertise the first 3 issues for someone to read, get excited about, and then they have nothing else to go with? That's kind of ridiculous, don't you think? But yeah, here. This just came out. It is it's a reprinting of the first 3 issues of his run. Then there's the 2 volumes. I think they're actually pretty expensive now online. Danny Ketch Classic Volume 1 and 2, which really sucks. Marvel really needs to just start reprinting, either doing reprints or just releasing collected editions of the 90s series. It's the most neglected series probably out of all Ghost Rider, which sucks because most everything Ghost Rider is, a lot of the stuff that happens in Dan Ketch's run influenced modern Ghost Rider. He didn't start using a chain until Dan Ketch's run. He wasn't that much of a superhero. It was treated more as a curse in Volume 1 with Johnny Blaze. I mean, there were moments where he was saving people, but he was a maniacal, crazy bastard who would revel in torture and violence when it came to his prey. I don't know, maybe not torture, maybe I'm going a little overboard. Yeah, there was a lot of the Penance Stare. That's another thing that Dan Ketch's Ghost Rider brought in. There's a lot with the mythos that I feel Dan Ketch's run inspired for modern Ghost Rider that you don't really get to see except there. And where I'm going with this is they should really reprint more of his stuff. It's ridiculous. Recommendations, again, those graphic novels, Dan Ketch Classic Volume 1 and 2, Ghost Rider, Wolverine, and Punisher. It's called Hearts of Darkness. It collects 2 different stories, actually. It's basically the story where they fight Blackheart, and it's a really fun ride. All of Spirits of Vengeance. It's 23 issues long, I'm pretty sure. That one might not be too hard to find if you go on Google and just type in Ghost Rider Spirits of Vengeance, go to shopping, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that probably are selling like that series in bulk, where you can get multiple of the issues at once. That I can not recommend enough. The whole 23 issues is amazing. It's written by the same guy, Howard Mackey, who writes the 90s Ghost Rider series from issue 1 to issue, ironically, 69. Anyways, so Spirits of Vengeance, I would say the first 24 issues of Ghost Rider, the 90s series, are stellar. I can't recommend that enough. After that, I mean, I would still get issue 25, but if you get issue 25, you're going to want to keep reading. Issue 1 through 24 is pretty much like a season of a show, because issue 24 really does feel like a season finale. It ties up every loose end, pretty much all the story arcs that were going on from issue 1 to that point, issue 24. 90% of it to 95% of it is all tied up in a neat little bow. So if you wanted to, you could just read those 24 issues and be a satisfied customer. If you want to keep going, that's up to you. Read the Rise of the Midnight Suns issues you need. Yeah, Siege of Darkness. I don't know for sure if I'd recommend that. After that, it's crazy. I would say after issue there's all this, they get bogged down in all this crazy plot stuff that I feel like kind of does more harm than good in Ghost Rider. It's not until issue 50 that I feel like the 90s series kind of gets back to form where it does these more focused stories, I for lack of a better term. I also want to recommend the way too short-lived Blaze spin-off series. It was only 12 issues long. It's not anything like the normal Ghost Rider stories, which I think is quite fun. It kind of reminds me a teeny bit, not much, but it kind of reminds me of Carnival, which was an HBO series. It only lasted 2 seasons. It was really good. It just in the sense that it was this off-brand kind of plots. They were very irregular, crazy plots that I just kind of enjoyed. It's about a traveling carnival. I mean, you can kind of use your imagination to come up with some of the crazy plots that they would have. I don't know. I really, really enjoyed it. One of my favorite aspects that was introduced in Spirits of Vengeance was Blaze and the traveling carnival, and like a lot of those side characters. They were very interesting and cool. Some of them, unfortunately, don't come back in the Blaze series, but some of them do, and it's a really, really good series. Definitely worth checking out. It might not be too easy to stumble across if you know where to look using Google and just typing in 90s Blaze series. You might be able to find it. It's really, really good. Worth checking out. It's only 12 issues long. There's a really good storyline called Betrayals and In Chains. It's 4 issues, Betrayals, and then it's In Chains, which is another 4 issues. So it's like an 8-issue kind of total thing that I really, really love. My goal with my channel is to talk about in depth, pretty much issue by issue, every single 90s Ghost Rider issue and its crossovers. I'm doing a little bit of Johnny Blaze's run, and I'll probably dabble in the other Ghost Riders afterwards. I'm going to break this video down into 2 separate videos. Well, this is going to be the end of part 1. Part 2 will deal with pretty much everything after the 90s series up until now, because every series after the 90s series is extremely short. Look at the description down below and you will see lists for everything that I've talked about in this video, recommendations, collected editions, the Vengeance Unbound website, and a few other just tidbits that you might want to know. I will try to get the next video up pretty soon. I have it recorded, I just need to edit it and do my little... I hope you guys enjoy the slideshow, like little collages I made to have the lists and have the pictures of each of the issues, and I don't know, you can screenshot them, maybe that'll help you find what you're looking for. And they might be good guidelines and just good guides for collecting each of the issues. I hope they help. They were fun to make. I hope you find them useful. All right, well, this is it. I will see you guys next time, and we will talk about recommendations for the next ones. And I'm also working on the script for the next review, which is the Johnny Blaze one. I will try to have that up within the next 2 weeks, along with this other recommendation video. I'll do my best, with the holidays and everything, it's getting kind of busy. Anyways, you guys take it easy, have a good day, and I hope to see you next time. Peace.